to manage your emotions. In case we haven't met yet, I'm Jess. I'm the sole founder of Life and Confidence. And I feel this is really important for me to share with you because there's so many of us that is running away from our own emotions rather than feeling into them. And this is where we create vicious cycles of addictions and dysfunctional and toxic behaviors and patterns that isn't serving you for your highest good. And I want to share with you my personal experience in going through the emotions and healing my relationship with my mother. And this was a couple of years ago during COVID. And I remembered that I had young child with my mother, and there was something that she said that triggered me. And in the past, I would storm out and walk away. And it happened as well, not long ago. However, back then, that version of me back then was like, okay, Jess, I'm not going to walk away from my mother. I'm going to excuse myself and go to the bathroom and just feel into this pain and process it before I engage with her. And when I returned back and connect with her, I wasn't connecting with her at all. I was quiet, and so was she. And she told me, daughter, the past is in the past. There's no point about thinking about it. You think too much. And in some ways, I could take it differently. I saw it as a really shallow response that she's not understanding what showed up for me. But on another perspective, I could see that she's actually right. There is no point of dwelling in the past because the past is in the past and the present is completely different now. And I was really proud of myself that I was able to sit in the discomfort of anger and allow myself to just feel it and process it while I was with my mother. And when I felt I was complete with that, I then became present and engaged with her and continued the conversation and connection with her. And so it requires us to be at a place where we can do this. It's really hard when you're starting out in the first few years of your journey on your healing path regarding to managing your emotions, because there's layers and layers and layers of memories and triggers that is so tricky that it gets the best of us and we explode and we storm off because we don't know what to do with our emotions. And that's the typical thing that we do, and that's what I have done many times in the past, where I've just exploded and walked away, and I missed out on an opportunity how I can actually confront my fears and the person and the situation and turn it around if I could just contain and hold space for myself while I'm processing the anger and communicate in a non-violent way rather than an explosive way. However, these experiences served me because it made me realize where I went wrong and how I can do things better. And now I'm implementing these things with my mother because this is a relationship that I don't want to let go. And there were times where I was ready to shut down the door on her and not connect with her forever. And I've done that with certain people in my life as well. And that is my coping mechanism, to shut down and not feel into the intensity of the anger because the anger was so strong it could rip me apart. And this is the fear that so many people have, is that they are in fear of their own emotions to the point where they feel their emotions can take them out, can tear them apart. where they'll go into a mental breakdown and be hospitalized again. Or they just become uncontrollable. And it's because you're not able to hold space for yourself. And you do not trust yourself to go deeper and look into the depth of that emotion. Healing starts with your feelings. And as soon as you give yourself permission to feel and feel into the full depths of the pain, you are no longer running away from your past, avoiding certain people, situations. You're not shutting yourself down, and you're not giving your power away to your emotions. You are simply holding space for yourself to process it and integrate it. So how can we manage our emotions? Especially if we can't hold space for ourselves to process it then and there, especially when someone is triggering us. How can we do that? How can we do that if we're not in a safe environment where someone is constantly down our throats or abusing us? How can we process our emotions? How can we manage them if that is occurring? And so there's a few things. If you are experiencing grief and sadness or loss in your life, give yourself permission to cry. And even if you cannot stop crying, do it anyway, because you're giving yourself a process to release the grief through crying. And I remember that I gave myself permission to constantly cry every single night because I was so heartbroken by a man. But I gave myself permission anyway to feel it because I've realized this is what I didn't do in the past that got me caught up in this vicious cycle of panic attacks, where I didn't allow myself to cry, to feel into the anger and process it. And it's not until I feel into the full depths what was driving that, which was shame. If I didn't give myself permission to feel that, I would keep running the same patterns and cycles over and over again, and to constantly experience panic attacks whenever a guy breaks up with me. Or rejects me. So this is the beauty of our pain. When you just allow yourself to let it all out, that's holding space for yourself. And if you are going through something and you cannot communicate with your loved ones about it and it's really explosive, just let your loved ones know that you're going to remove yourself and that you need some time out to process the pain. So if it's a social situation where you're at a restaurant like I was with my mum, go to the bathroom or just take a walk outside and get some fresh air and just process what's going on in your head and in your heart. And when you feel calmer, even though you may not feel complete, just return back and have a conversation, an adult conversation around it without blaming the other person, but just letting them know, like, what you said to me triggered this and this is what I'm feeling right now. And that's it. And just say, I don't want you to fix me or rescue me, but I just want to share with you where I'm at. And the other person can just simply share with you their perspective, like my mum, how she's saying that, daughter, there's no point of dwelling in the past. The past is in the past. Don't be upset. And when I allow myself to process that helped me to see it from a different perspective and not take it personal. So that's one way you can go about it if you're in that situation, a social situation. If this is happening in your own home and you're being violated by someone that you're living with, then you need to walk away from that person and be in a different room or go for a walk to clear your mind. Once you've processed that, then come back home and have an adult conversation around it with that person. If that person isn't able to hold space and have an adult conversation around it, it's best that you seek professional help and let that be your place where you can be held and supported to process your emotions in a healthy and contained way. So these are just different scenarios that I would suggest how you can do this. And if you're feeling anger, get it out. Give yourself permission to express it, screaming it, yelling it, just venting non-stop until you get it out. And visualizing the person there and just venting it out. And you'll start to feel lighter. And then once you vent it out, just ground yourself in nature, and that will start shifting your energy. You might want to spend more time in nature every single day, because these thought patterns can be so stubborn that it will come back and bite you in the ass, and you will repeat the cycle again. So it's very important that you ground yourself so you don't get caught up in your head overthinking things about the past. You need to ground yourself in nature so you can be in the present, and the past is just a thing of the past. So I really hope that gives you some insight in how you can manage your emotions. The worst thing you can do is to avoid them, run away from them, numb yourself, suppress them, or turn a blind eye to them. That's the worst thing you can do, because you're going to keep repeating the same cycle over and over again until you've been forced in a worst case situation. Perhaps something is taken away from you, such as your health, and you go through a mental health breakdown and being hospitalized. Now that's one scenario. And you go out of your mind, and that's when you're forced to look into your pain and feel it, because you're at that desperate point where you're willing to do anything to get yourself out of this situation, and you don't want to be at that situation. You want to start getting better now before it gets worse. So if you feel called to start shifting these patterns and to free up these heavy emotions and suppressed traumas so you can live your best life and upgrade your identity, then you might be interested in joining me for my full moon past life trauma clearing circle. You can join me via Zoom or at my place, where you can start breaking away the karmic imprints and patterns from your past life that's showing up now. You can click on the link below and it will bring you to a different page with more information for you to learn more and to book your spot. If you're ready to dive deeper with me, I invite you to come along to Transforming Trauma Weekend Workshop in Melbourne, Australia, and Tokyo, Japan. In these 2 days, you will discover yourself again. We will dismantle and dislodge the armoring of your conditioning that is keeping you stuck in your life right now, to start letting go the grief, the anger, the fear, the anxiety, the shame, through Tai Chi, core energetics, bioenergetics, family constellations, emotional release work, past life, ancestral, and childhood trauma clearing activations. You will also receive a personalized reading from me where I would look into your physical body, just a quick scan to let you know where you hold the trauma, how it shaped your personality, at what age. And I can also tune into your hologram, which is your energetic field, where you're holding the trauma in your energetic field, where's the blockage in your organs and your chakras, certain timelines or experiences or entities, and we'll clear that up. So there's so much juiciness and richness and medicine in the weekend workshops. There's also a VIP ticket as well, if you feel called to receive private support with me through a couple of private sessions and getting direct access through me via WhatsApp, Telegram, or Line, through voice messages, texts, phone calls. So you can also grab a VIP ticket for Transforming Trauma Weekend Workshop as well. There's also the upgrade ticket, which is for the one in Tokyo, Japan, where this includes the personalized support, the workshop itself, as well as a one-night stay in the penthouse. So you're not rushing around to get to the venue. You can just relax and sleep overnight, have a rest, and you can go to your room at any time you want throughout the workshop, so you can rest and nap and be in your own sacred space to have that beautiful sanctuary to yourself. So if you would like to learn more about this, and if you want to find out if this experience is right for you, please click on the link below. You can also book a free clarity call with me via Zoom to see if the workshop is what you need, or maybe you might need the VIP ticket where you need that private support with myself so we can go deeper at the weekend workshop. So make sure you click on the link below to book that in. If you got something from this video, I would love for you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, give it a like, comment below, and share it with your loved ones. And may your emotions and traumas be your greatest teacher in your healing journey ahead.